Okay, day 2 of 100 shit videos about spiritual awakening. Yesterday I explained where I was coming from with this and that I'd created a new YouTube channel with 0 subscribers, hoping that I could post videos without anyone watching and that the YouTube algorithm would conspire to give me 0 subscribers, 0 audience, so that I could work through this childhood wound of mine. And then 3 goddamn subscribers and some beautiful comments. To those people who commented on that first video and subscribed, in all seriousness, thank you so much. I was really touched and found that to be so unexpected, and it was so good for the parts of me that are caught in this wound to actually see that. But I want to be rigorously honest with you as I work through this very deep wound that awakening back in 2019 didn't suddenly flush out automatically, and actually has persisted for the last 6 years, that every time I would get this camera out and try to talk about my experience of awakening, that I would be slammed right back into the ego structure that had fallen away. And so I want to be honest that when I saw that some people had actually seen this video, the last video, and subscribed, the part of me that, or the parts of me that are still caught in this wound, that in almost every other aspect of my life I'm free from, this awakening has burnt through so much other stuff, like anxious attachment stuff, like shame stuff, like people-pleasing stuff, like so many neuroses have fallen away, but this one stubbornly persisted. And so when I saw some traction in terms of some comments and some appreciation, on the one hand I was grateful, and on the other hand I was like, damn it. Damn it, the whole point of this was to make these videos and not care about whether they're any good or whether anyone likes them, to realize that they have value whether they're seen or not. That was the point, was to help this part of me. And I might just share the story of where I think this kind of really came from. As a kid, I had a really, really fantastic mum in lots of ways. And she was quite extreme in her praise, but also extreme in her disapproval. And so as a kid, there's one particular memory that feels like it's at the core of this wound, this identity that remains in place even all these years after awakening. And in the memory, I'm probably like 10 or 11, and I've just done some homework for school, and I've rushed it, and I know it, and I show it to my mum because I want to go and play with something, and she absolutely loses her shit at me. And this was a really common occurrence, and it's so bizarre because maybe you can relate, I can literally picture where that conversation happened, standing outside our laundry cupboard at the top of the stairs, and it's as if I'm like right there right now, which really tells a story of how active this complex of memories and sensations and beliefs and thoughts really is, and why it's had this power to control me. Because of course what happened is the the YouTube algorithm became my mother. And as a kid, I learned that if you're not brilliant, if you don't do extraordinary things, then basically you're a piece of shit and you're not worth much. In fact, what you're worth is abandonment, rejection, shaming. And so this really forged such a powerful identity that for most of my life really served in a lot of ways. I was a smart kid, and so it taught me many good things to be able to apply myself academically, to get results in a career that followed in the corporate world for like 10 years. And there was a lot that was good about that. But it was all really coming from this very wounded place, and the pressure and anxiety that it created to have to always be brilliant. I was so struck years ago when I read John Bradshaw's book, Healing the Shame That Binds Us, and he says that toxic shame insists that we must be gods, and if we can't pull that off, then it means that we're worms. And that's how I used to live. I used to live, and still do, apparently, at times, trying to be a god, trying to be perfect, and then frequently failing at that and feeling like I'm a fucking worm. And that was a incredibly painful way to live. And as I sit here right now talking to you, I feel more free just for the fact that I'm sharing this with you and being honest and real about all of this. I can feel such emotion in my body right now. Like it's such a mix of sensations, like such gratitude actually for you being here to share this with me. Such sadness for that kid, such sadness for my mother, such joy at existence, even in all of its pain and challenge. And to know that we are able to free ourselves from traumatic, painful experiences, because the trauma itself, the painful memories themselves, they're all made of the one thing. They're all made of enlightenment. Unenlightenment is made of enlightenment. And that's why there is no neuroses that's insurmountable. And before waking up, I used to have this fear that I was too fucked up to wake up. That psychologically, or that my nervous system was just a bit too fucked to be able to embody the truth. And it's so wonderful to be able to confirm for anyone who might be in doubt, pre-awakening, post-awakening, not that it's one-time event, but as a figure of speech, that your dysfunction is made of God. And I'm experiencing that right now in real time. That awful moment with my mum that repeated over and over again with her in the same way was literally made of wholeness. So anyway, when I saw that that there were these lovely comments from a couple of people, so thank you so much for those. It really touched my heart. And yet for a part of me, the one that felt it had to protect me all those years, that felt like it had to be perfect, to be rigorously honest about this, that part of me was like, right, now we need to make sure that we get the next video right. The ego is such a hilarious character. And I think, as my understanding, or it's just so funny to say that out loud. As my clarity has deepened, the ego has felt just so not a problem. Just, again, the ego is God too. There's nothing but God, the universe, self, whatever your word is for that. And so right now I feel such affection towards that part of my ego structure that even in this moment has this ability to coagulate into something that feels somewhat real and solid and separate. So anyway, he jumped in as soon as he saw those comments and some appreciation, and thankfully the big self from which all egos are made in the end was able to recognize that, and in a very loving, gentle way actually name that in this second video in order to hold true to the commitment to myself, to nobody, to you, to really have this be deeply authentic sharing about post-awakening integration, deepening, however you might want to think about that. So thank you for being here. If there is anyone here, I'm glad that you're here, and I'm also pissed off that you're here because it's ruining my project in the best possible way. And I'm looking forward to sharing some things in the next few videos that I already have in mind around stuff I've learned through working with a lot of people as therapy clients, and what that's shown me about awakening, psychological kind of keys for awakening wherever you are in that journey. So I'm going to share some of that stuff in the next few videos. So thanks for being here. See you in the next one.